I'm a week late, I know, but ignoring my busy life outside YouTube, Paper Mario's always been a very interesting series to look through. You're all already aware of all the things it's dealt with. The backlash of the last 3 games, the interviews, and all the odd restrictions, story restrictions, character restrictions, the design philosophies, the sanitizations and whatnot, across it and other Mario titles even, but I won't lecture you in great detail this time. But, definitely, in a future video. To point to the Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake, it's become a very interesting decision from Nintendo and Intelligent Systems as of late. And trust, for the umpteenth time, I'm going to talk about how the Thousand Year Door remake is a major reversal to Intelligent Systems' philosophy, to Paper Mario before, to Paper Mario's supposed trajectory. But that's not the main focus for this video, at least not entirely. Anticipate another massive, major Paper Mario video, one I've been planning for a while now that I need to get the ball rolling on and need to do after the Invincible Season 1 review is done. But it'll be one you do not want to miss. But beyond the remake itself, now, there's even more. Speculating this remake all on its own isn't all we have as far as how much more value and weight Nintendo is giving to the traditional RPG format for Mario. And it's not even just Paper Mario anymore, because you guys know we also recently got a remake of Super Mario RPG. Amazing, glorious remake of a cult classic Mario title. But we've also been dealing with the absence of Mario and Luigi, another beloved series, debatably more than Paper Mario, for a while now, and a much more consistent franchise at that. Bowser's Inside Story is within my top 10 favorite Mario games of all time, for multiple reasons you'll find out in the future. I adore Superstar Saga and Partners in Time almost as much too. I also really like Dream Team a lot, but the last brand new title was almost a decade ago with Paper Jam. And that's ignoring the 2 remakes on 3DS we got of Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story in 2017 and 2019, 5 years ago. If Alpha Dream didn't go under, we would have at the latest heard about a new Mario and Luigi installment this year, especially with how much bigger and more expensive in money, resources, and time game development is becoming. I mean, look at 3D Mario and Zelda, for example, and that's only 2. But then that begs the question. Sure, we have the remakes of 2 very creative and rich Mario RPGs between RPG and Thousand Year Door, but how would those and Mario and Luigi's absence make you think Nintendo cares about Mario RPGs again? If not just those 2 remakes, it's also this. Can easily be case 405 of crazed Mario fans or Mario RPG suckers reading too deep into things. But almost a week ago, Nintendo's been sending out surveys. It's at random. If you have promo emails and surveys enabled in your My Nintendo account, that's how you obtain these surveys. It's still random. I still haven't gotten mine. I'm completely praying I get one at all in the future. I am literally their target audience with this, so I feel like they should base this on Switch accounts who've purchased and played both Origami King and Thousand Year Door the remake. If they could crack down on specific NSO games, maybe those with the expansion pass who have access to N64 games, Paper Mario 64 specifically, like me. But now, right now, Nintendo's asking fans about their experience and thoughts regarding Mario RPGs. Not just Paper Mario, not just Mario RPG, but all of those including Mario and Luigi. So just the idea itself, it's really hard to not think about what they're doing with this. So for one, Nintendo during surveys is nothing new. They'll throw one out to random Nintendo account holders with their promo emails and survey option in their settings enabled, again, randomly. But they don't exactly do it that commonly. It's common, but not for every first-party IP they recently give some spotlight. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't recall such surveys regarding anything revolving around The Legend of Zelda, Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, or most other Mario games. Like, they'll do this for some, but not many games. The most recent and one of the only recent examples specifically I could think of is WarioWare. Prior to revealing WarioWare Move It, Nintendo sent out a survey asking Nintendo fans if they'd buy a $50 WarioWare title, despite WarioWare Get It Together was $50, and that game dropped a few years before that survey. And lo and behold, Move It wound up being $50, as what most participants wanted. But for those who remember back when Sticker Star got the interviews, it might have been during Super though, the developers revealed Club Nintendo surveys pertaining to Super Paper Mario had people of less than 1% prefer the story and character that game went for, and by extension, the 2 Paper Marios before it. They specifically outlined that as one of their main reasons of coping with the idea that it doesn't need these engaging stories or uncommon types of characters, worlds, narratives, and such. We may not know to the full extent if it was their primary reason or a smaller one of other larger reasons. I'm assuming the latter, but that's something they've referenced themselves. So just based on precedent with Super Paper Mario and WarioWare Move It, these surveys do make an impact of some kind. Nintendo puts some value into these surveys no matter how minor or major the subject matter, and a survey pertaining to all Mario RPGs in general doesn't seem like something that an online rando would fabricate. I don't think this would be something fake and fraudulent someone made trying to fool Paper Mario fans. That'd be very high effort in just the activity of it all, for one thing. And the last thing that also tracks, but is the only thing I'm not a fan of, is its randomness. That is Nintendo. But like, if there was any other way they could track accounts that have played any substantial amount of time on the Thousand Year Door remake when that drops, or the Origami King, that'd be my basis. That's their target demographic. Nintendo, if you want to send out more, beyond the UK, I think it's only the UK right now, too. That's another problem. If you want to send it overseas, I am literally the audience you want to be sending it to. truziak@aol.com. That's my email, please. I am literally who you want to send the survey to, pretty please. And the one thing that went against Super Paper Mario's favor with these surveys was the incentive. Club Nintendo would give you points for rewards in their program by filling out surveys. So the odds are strong that most responders to any survey they sent out, not even just Super Paper Mario's, were filled hastily and without true, genuine input because of that. I don't know if My Nintendo rewards responders with platinum points, but even if they do, I don't think Nintendo's telling people. And even then, My Nintendo rewards are so garbage and not nearly as good as what Club Nintendo offered back in the day. I can't imagine there'd be as many people clicking bubbles to prompts willy-nilly like a decade and a half ago. So Nintendo's asking themselves about the Mario RPGs. And I'm not sure what people are sharing online is the full survey. There may be more questions and options we might be missing. I don't know. We also don't know how many people have received and filled out this survey. Apparently, it's only being done in the UK, like I said earlier, right now. We don't know if it'll hit the US, Japan, other countries. There's still some factors that could aim this survey experiment down another bad path. But when you look at the questions they have, they are extremely thorough and specific. What are your favorite features? Do you prefer getting stronger by leveling up / learning new abilities, following an adventure and an engaging story, encountering familiar characters like Luigi, Peach, or Bowser, collecting gear or accessories to become stronger? Which aspects do you like the most across action commands, companions, partners, feeling engaged and using powerful moves when it's full, using special attacks or bros attacks with unique effects, using consumable items like stickers, a turn-based battle system, real-time combat like Super Paper Mario? Like, they're asking all the questions we've been wanting about Paper Mario, and such questions that do matter when it comes to Mario RPG as well as Mario and Luigi. So just from the perspective of Paper Mario looking at this, of course, I am so glad we're getting an actual shot at giving Nintendo proper, more transparent clarifications about what people are asking as far as Paper Mario. The method to who gets the survey is questionable, but with how thorough and specific the answers they're giving you are, there's no way, even without a tiny sliver, Nintendo doesn't care about what people want out of Paper Mario. History is repeating itself like it did in the late 2000s, but now there's a much stronger shot at sending a better message that could persuade Nintendo and Intelligent Systems even harder the kind of Paper Mario most genuinely want. If they didn't want to pay attention online, this is a good way of communicating to us what specifically do we want out of Paper Mario. I don't know if they're doing this because of how loud the backlash was across the last 3 games. Maybe they're tired of seeing all the criticism and pushback they've gotten. Maybe they're tired of seeing all the criticism and pushback they've gotten for effectively almost 2 decades. Maybe they're tired of flip-flopping their approach and combat design. Maybe this is just another tie into how much more unrestricted, unlimited, and cascading the possibilities are for ideas and creativity in Mario games as of late. I went over that in another video, but I couldn't say. But between everything that Paper Mario's been up to 2020, Super Mario RPG getting remade, Thousand Year Door getting remade alongside it, and now these surveys, I'd be hard-pressed to think this is all just coincidence. This all isn't reflective of some philosophy towards Paper Mario, towards Mario RPGs in general, or towards Mario in general. There's no way, especially now, that Thousand Year Door was just another GameCube game they wanted to remake and that's it. There's an active effort from Nintendo in really seeing and proving what fans want from Paper Mario. But I'm not getting ahead of myself. That's another video for another day. However, From the perspective of Mario and Luigi, holy, absolute yes. Nintendo actually acknowledging Mario and Luigi in 2024, that's something I was not anticipating at all. If surveys persuade Nintendo to some lengths on their games, I'd love if this meant Nintendo's considering doing anything for Mario and Luigi. That series is just as beloved and celebrated, arguably more from most of both franchises' runs than Paper Mario was. And those games are more fantastic, creative, and charming adventures. It's printed even more money than Paper Mario has, and it has just as many passionate fans behind it as Paper Mario does. It deserves to be continued and expanded upon. Millions of people need to see how much Mario and Luigi adds to Mario's world and characters as it did before. And from the perspective of Super Mario RPG, who's to say they may consider continuing that specific line of Mario RPGs? I get it's effectively Paper Mario Zero, but it brings a style, charm, and aura Paper Mario does significantly differently, and Mario and Luigi brings such a majorly different way too on top. All three titles, or franchises, quote unquote, they deliver Mario adventures and stories that all do wildly different things, and significantly different gameplay mechanics, comedy focuses, characters, worlds, styles, etc. Square Enix could probably take the helm again in making new Mario RPG games styled and based after RPG specifically, maybe Art Piazza since they did an amazing job on the remake, but a Super Mario RPG 2 that isn't Paper Mario, it wouldn't be that unrealistic after how amazingly it sold. More than 3 million copies in just the first 6 weeks. For a Mario RPG game, that's ridiculous. And even then, Nintendo is asking us about Mario RPGs. They're listening and directly asking to us details about what we want out of Mario RPGs. All this malarkey about the story, the characters, the combat, the game mechanics, everything is being outlined by Nintendo and sought out. That is incredible. I'm gonna blue ball you guys just a little bit. I really want to rip all of this apart in that future video. I'll likely repeat a lot of what I said here in that future video. I could say I think we have this one word. Not yet. Hold on. Before I go though, I'm sorry I kept this shorter than I should. It is a Paper Mario video. You know I like to drag these out. I promise that future video is gonna slap. But to end off this video, we'll go over the questions out now to the public as if I'm doing the survey right now. Nintendo, I still don't have it. Please, gimme. But it starts on how it's asking if we played any of the Mario RPG games. Yes, I've played all of them. Didn't beat Mario RPG, but I did indeed play all the others and beat every single one, not counting the Mario and Luigi remakes. And then it asks which one is your favorite between Super Paper Mario, Color Splash, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, or Dream Team. It's odd they didn't include Paper Mario 64, or Thousand Year Door, or Sticker Star, Origami King, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, or Mario RPG, but I'd probably go with Bowser's Inside Story. I still think that's a top 10 Mario game. Amazing story, amazing gameplay, fantastic world, writing, lore, etc. I love the other titles too, but Bowser's Inside Story to me is the best Mario & Luigi. Superstar Saga though, insanely close. But if they had Thousand Year Door on here, you know I'd pick that. I'll leave this on screen for a while. You can pause it to read it, but it asks about 5 most liked features to you in all these types of games. Go ahead, pause the video, read the list, but personally speaking, I'd probably opt the most for collecting new gear or accessories to get stronger, exploring new worlds and places, encountering new characters unlike the known characters from the Mario games, following an engaging adventure and story, and getting stronger by leveling up or learning new abilities. To explain why not the other questions, finding dialogue and a humorous atmosphere, that's something all these types of games manage to do really well already, almost every time, and these come with the territory no matter what type of game they do. I like encountering familiar characters in most cases like Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, and those of similar importance, but I definitely have to favor the new characters, given that's one of the most lacking things from Paper Mario, and even Mario and Luigi to a smaller extent. All series have a unique graphical style already, we unlock new abilities in the overworld already, we see familiar elements from Mario often already, and action commands have always been a thing in every single type of game. I was really considering beating enemies in a turn-based combat system by choosing your move wisely, and I truly would if this gave me a 6th option. That is really important, but technically every Paper Mario that isn't Super is turn-based already. The last 3 only have way less mechanics and attacks to choose, and it's far more simplistic. That's why I chose getting stronger by leveling up or learning new abilities, and there's not a lot of other ways you could do that isn't within a turn-based battle system, something only Super Paper Mario wasn't really. Leveling up, Experience points is the key and most effective incentive in those older Paper Mario titles and every Mario & Luigi and Mario RPG. Why have a turn-based combat system without any genuine, good, worthwhile, and exclusive incentive? And learning new attacks and such from leveling up, from badges, etc. is another incentive. Collecting gear and accessories is badges. I want them to continue badges in these games. We need new worlds and new places. That's what made Thousand Year Door and Super stick out. Same for every non-Paper Jam Mario & Luigi and RPG. Same applies for having new characters unlike known Mario ones. The Shadow Sirens, the X-Nauts, Rockhawk, Count Bleck, Dementio, the Bean Bean Civilians, the Shroops, the Pilo People. That's what makes these games that much more entertaining. Meeting these characters you wouldn't expect from a Mario game. And lastly, an adventure and engaging story is literally every Paper Mario pre-sticker star. Super's entire appeal is the story. Mario and Luigi have the same outside Paper Jam. That's been a key thing we've wanted in these games since the start. The next questions regarding these three IPs, including a variety of new characters like Geno and Mallow, as well as familiar ones, and asking which you prefer. Either completely new, both, the familiar ones, or you don't know. I'm stuck between completely new or both. I want new characters more than otherwise, but I like them balancing both new and old characters. Thousand Year Door, 64, Superstar Saga, and Bowser's Inside Story. Those are games that do give us plenty of familiar characters. Toadsworth, Toadette, Peach, Bowser, older partners, Birdo, and whatnot, and they still introduce a plethora of new characters and races on top. I'm probably swaying slightly more to both, assuming those games are the examples Nintendo would have of equal use of new and old characters. And as far as familiar characters' behaviors, another question. Would you prefer they all act and behave like in other Mario games? They make central characters appear unique and behave unexpectedly? They make side characters like Toads to appear unique and behave unexpectedly? Or you don't know? This one's a little tricky. Obviously, make everyone behave and appear at least a little bit differently from other Mario games, but central characters acting different is fun most of the time. But side characters acting unexpectedly is also the fun of these games, and not just locked to Toads either. I'd probably go with the side character one, but I wouldn't object to central characters doing the same thing. And finally, supposedly, the last question, it talks about the game's battle mechanics and which ones do you like the most. I do not like Mario fighting alone at all. I do not like one-time usable attacks like stickers whatsoever. I don't like the little puzzle like an Origami King. I don't like having a timer like an Origami King. I don't hate real-time combat like in Super Paper Mario, but I don't prefer it either. And now the list is narrowed down to like roughly 7 other options. I like having time to decide my next move, but this is a given for something else, and I like using items in any of these games, and it should be a given no matter what. But as far as my 5 most preferred aspects, the ones I will prioritize the most, increasing your attacks or defense with a timed button press is literally an action command, and those have always been there and should stay. Companions fighting alongside Mario is the big one. That's literally partners. We want partners in these games. Filling a gauge with precise inputs and using powerful attacks or moves when full is pretty much Paper Mario's star attacks with the Star Spirit moves and Crystal Star moves. Yes, I love using those. Using special attacks and Bros attacks with unique effects is always fun. And of course, a turn-based combat system. We're given this prompt here, so I'd choose it here. Giving it XP and all the stuff I liked earlier is my preferred approach for any Paper Mario, same for Mario & Luigi and Mario RPG, but this would be my hypothetical fill of the survey, and we still don't know if the Americas will get it, if we're missing more questions. But there's a starkly different aura surrounding Paper Mario now, all these Mario RPGs. It feels very soothing, feels very comforting. But as far as Paper Mario goes, you're going to want to wait for that other video. What would your survey answers be in the comments? How are your thoughts regarding this development? Let me know down below. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for, again, for like the 5th time, another Paper Mario project after my Invincible review. That review is going to slap, but the Paper Mario one, that one's going to be really good. I promise. Until then, stay super.
Yo, hey, 妹妹，嘿，我来呀！共和大哈哈呀，拉面。嘿，来面，来个面，功夫，再见呀！哈哈，拉面，下手面，谢谢。